Grab your mouse ears and ready your wands. You're tuning in to Castles to Cauldrons, your ultimate guide to the magic, the thrills, and everything in between. From strolling right down the middle of Main Street, USA, to dodging fire-breathing dragons in Diagon Alley, we've got your theme park adventures covered. And now, sharing their hottest takes and best tips, here are your hosts, Jason, Micah, Rachel, and Terry.
Welcome to Castles of Cauldrons. I'm your host, Jason Davis. This is episode 66. I have Terry and surprise, Rachel's here. But Micah is actually not. Micah is in the middle of a storm and she lost power, so she's not dedicated enough to go find a plug at a gas station like Terry was one time. So we miss you, Micah. We are also joined today by Kelly from Magical Travel. Kelly, it's good to have you on. Can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and maybe like how you got involved with magical travel and the travel industry and some interest you have?
Yeah, so I have been with Magical Travel for almost 18 years now. Yay!
Thank you.
Yes! Yeah. And we live in Austin, Texas. So, yeah, what else?
But she was from Jersey.
I was from New Jersey, originally a Jersey
Jersey.
girl.
Jersey girl.
How did you find Magical Travels?
Travels.
Travel, sorry.
Excuse
Magical
me?
Travel.
It looks like anyways, the S is not meant to be there. Sorry.
My husband was actually, I think, doing some website work for Magical Travel, and they looped me in, and here we are 18 years later.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And fun fact, she speaks Spanish. So Kelly is our Spanish speaking advisor.
So she's going to be
Or one
answering
of
the
them.
rest of the episode in Spanish. We won't know anything. I won't know anything she's saying. Terry and Rachel might. And then somebody can tell us if it's all true or not. I don't know. It's good to have you. And she's on. She did the Universal Kids Resort for Magical Travel last week. It'll be 2 weeks ago when this comes out.
This weekend.
So we will talk about that after we talk about some news. But first and foremost, we're recording this pre-4th of July. So happy 4th of July to everybody. I hope you've had a safe holiday and didn't, get in a wheelchair and tell Terry to run off.
Put it in
Back it up.
reverse, Terry.
Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse.
Y'all
Don't
have
blow
any-
up your fingers. Hope everyone kept all your fingers.
I 100% really didn't realize it was like Terry. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun because we have Terry.
I've heard that a lot, yes.
But it's T-R-E-E or T-E-R-R-Y.
Right.
Terry, not with
Yes.
an I.
Y'all have big
Yeah,
plans
Terry,
for the
not girl
4th?
Terry. No,
What'd
we
you ask?
don't.
Do you
Any
have
big
any big
plans?
plans for the 4th?
We're going up to my father-in-law's. He has a property up by the Pocono area, and we're gonna go up there,
Ooh.
fish, shoot, set up some fireworks, barbecue.
That sounds like it should be in Alabama. 100%.
Yeah.
We're going to go fish, shoot, and do some
Yeah.
fireworks.
And cook out.
No one's going
What
to
I'm doing, because everyone's gonna be honing in on Taylor Swift's wedding this weekend.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a
It's
real
fine.
national holiday.
I don't care.
And also Kelly's anniversary.
Kelly's
Yes,
anniversary.
Kelly's anniversary.
The OG.
Taylor stole your date.
We're going to live stream on the Magical Travel page anniversary pictures for Kelly, and that way. But we're going to hashtag Taylor Swift and Travis so that we get all the views because people think
Right.
that way.
No, we don't say Kelly.
I'm
From-
close enough. The
Yeah.
hair's the same color. It's fine.
Yeah, it is perfect.
Just kind of make the face blurry so people think like you're going to sneak peek of Taylor's dress.
And then the
Bridal
castle,
portrait
like,
up there.
it looks like they're going to use something like Disneyland Castle in the thing, so we can put a picture of Disneyland Castle behind you.
I did hear the castle.
Yes.
That's crazy. Like how much money she has. Like it's not Travis's money, right? Travis has his own
Obviously.
money, but she's doing all this to keep it so secretive. If you're in New
And then
York,
she donated $26 million to charities
Mhm.
today.
Yeah.
Yep.
not a huge fan of her, but she's a great, like she does give back to the communities and everything like that. And she's super smart when it comes to marketing. Wonder how much she made off the Toy Story stuff. This isn't Taylor Swift podcast though.
It could be if you wanted it bad
It
enough.
could be. I wouldn't
We
know
could make
anything
it.
other than what we just talked about. I don't even know enough about Travis to talk about Travis for a Travis and Taylor episode.
I will tell you a very fun fact I learned when they were doing the prenup. She's worth like 2 point something billion, but he's worth like $100 million, which blew my mind. I didn't think he was worth that much. I was thinking 50 to 60.
Well, I
But with
think it
all
had
of
to do
his,
with the podcast and then the
it's all off the field stuff.
yeah.
If I was like
Mhm.
100 million for a football player, that's not too shabby.
No,
Yeah, plus he's still active. So he's getting his contracts, and then he's got the endorsements, and then anything else he does.
I tell you one
It's
thing.
crazy.
I would be retiring after this football season when I'm marrying somebody who's worth 2.6 billion.
That prenup's got to be.
Ironclad.
Well, the
Shame.
NDAs they sent out with the invitation apparently are ironclad. Like the invitation you got was watermarked with your initials or your name. So if it got leaked, they would know exactly who leaked it.
Yeah,
And the
dear.
NDA came with it.
Yeah, so that's all the entertainment news that has nothing to do with theme parks besides the castle that they're building in MSG. But, I know more about Taylor Swift now than I did when we started this podcast. Thanks, Terry.
You're welcome. Anytime.
So speaking of stuff that I love and Terry hates, HN News, we had 2 more houses announced. The last of the original houses is called Invasion Alien Abduction. I closed out my tab. This one is exactly what it sounds like. You're going through a house. It says, make contact with horrors from worlds unknown in this haunted house where a ship full of greys have torn apart a remote homestead in search of a fresh test subjects. I mentioned last episode I was looking forward to the pretty house, quote unquote. I think this is it. Because you're going to be on a farmland and aliens are taking over. But the way they talked about it was that these aren't your typical green, big-eyed aliens. These are going to be adapting. So
That's what I was wondering. Like the gray is capitalized. So are grays like your traditional looking aliens or are they like a breed
I think it's a
of
breed.
alien? Okay.
I just think like this one suits itself well for a lot of those wide open sets that we saw in Galkin last year. That could have like the farmland or something like that. I think it's gonna be fun. It's pretty high on my list right now. Second one was one that has been heavily rumored for a while, and it is Hellraiser. This is the 3rd IP house after Sinners and Stranger Things 5. This haunted house is based on the original Hellraiser trilogy. It's enter a realm of pure pain where Pinhead and his tormented Cenobites derive their hellish pleasures. Have y'all watched those movies? No.
Nope.
Okay, I've only watched one of them, so I'm not like.
So we only have 8 houses announced, aren't there 10?
Yes, so we're still waiting for 2 IPs. One was the Lady Gaga, then turned into Ozzy Osbourne, but the rumors that they're having struggles trying to get either one of those. So I don't know what that's going to be, and I can't remember what the last one was. So far, it's turning out to be a pretty solid year. It looks like it should be fun. Nothing like last year where there was a strong. This is the house I want to be going through all the time.
What was that one for you last year?
I think it was Galkin.
Was it? I know that was
That was
Micah's favorite. 'cause-
Micah's. I can pull it up.
Was it Terrifier?
No, Terrifier wasn't high on my list to begin with. In fact, I think Terrifier was like low on my list. And then it ended up being like 5.
Yeah.
Artista was my number 1 that I was looking for. That was the pretty house last year.
Yeah, that was a good one. I liked that one.
And Galkin and Terrifier ended up being my 3rd place. UWE was my worst.
Yeah.
See, I'm a true fan. I keep my list on my desktop so I can.
I'm just
Okay.
going through the things to see if I can find it.
It's the good news is that Terry and Mike and myself have decided that we will be going on the first weekend of October to do HHN, so October 3rd. So if you're in
I'm
the
reviewing
area,
food. I'm only reviewing food.
and Stranger Things at least. Ellie's going to be there too.
No, no. I don't do jump scares.
I don't do any scares, Kelly. I went
No.
behind someone like this through every house last year. Like
I did
just as fast
HHN
as I
with the
could.
lights on. We did a lights on tour and I was out of my mind already. So the lights are
That's
not
a good
going
one.
off.
That's the one thing I still want to do. I want to do the
I
lights
wanted.
on.
I would do the lights on one.
We're also doing a not so scary. I don't know
you are?
which day I'm doing. I think Terry
That's
said
my
she's going to
speed.
do it the Friday before, and Micah said she might do it the Sunday. So I'm like, I can do either one. Y'all pick
Yeah,
which
mine's
one y'all
I
want.
gotta be
me to
there
do.
Thursday through Sunday. So I'll probably do the
Mhm.
Friday.
Micah's going to be there Friday through like Monday or something.
The price of that ticket is ridiculous
200?
compared.
We're not
Yeah,
so
but it's like
scary.
yeah, but it's like 119. Like I think like in that September weekend we would be there, or whatever weekend it is that I looked before, like that ticket's $119. Then that weekend it just turns to October, and that ticket's $199.
It's because it's October now.
Is it for
freaking
HHN
kidding
you're
me,
talking
man?
about? Or are you talking
No,
about
Mickey.
Disney?
Not so scary.
Yeah.
It's just because it moves to October, and they know they can sell it for a higher price when it comes to
Maybe we'll
$84.
get it.
Halloween.
We'll get it.
But I get to see the parade and the sparks. So
Are you going to
Yeah,
bring
they gotta
are you going solo or?
no, yeah, I'm going solo. Whoever wants to go with me that's there can go, but my family will be here.
Okay.
That's
I'm
kind of
just trying
like
to
a
figure out what we
quick
want to do.
quick turnaround.
Last bit of news we have. This is actually kind of like more entertainment type stuff, but it has to do with the parent company of NBC Universal, which could affect the theme park. So I figured it'd be good for us to talk about. Comcast is planning on spinning. Well, it is spinning off the Universal side of their business. If you don't know, Comcast is the internet broadband type stuff. It's the I don't know the actual good
Do they
term
still
right
do
now.
cable network
Yeah,
too?
they have
Yeah,
cable.
it's Xfinity. Like I have Comcast here. I have a triple
Gotcha.
play, so phone, internet, and TV.
Well, they have that, and then they're going to spin off NBC Universal and Sky, which is Sky was what they acquired from the Hulu Disney conversation they had when they sold that stuff. So the Roberts family, I think's the name. Yes, they'll be involved in the leadership of both Comcast and NBC Universal. I think Comcast will have like 19.9% shares in Universal itself, NBC Universal. The big thing to take away from this is that Comcast is the reason Universal has blown up over the last few years. They opened up the books and saw like Butterbeer was making them so much money. They're like, why aren't we putting more money down here? And so we got Diagon Alley, we got even that horrible Fast and Furious ride, The Reign of Kong, Epic Universe. I mean, it's all because Comcast saw what could happen.
I saw the Fast and Furious ride in California.
Right?
It just
The California one?
the California one.
Yes.
I was like looking at it. I'm like, holy crap!
It looks
that's-
awesome.
I was like, cool, but
Yeah.
So it's not as free spinning as I thought it was either. Like,
right, it doesn't look as
It's like
free
Cosmic
spinning.
Rewind, right?
Yeah. Because when you
Yeah.
go over the escalators, it turns and you look at the escalators as you drift over, and it looks fun. I need to go out there. But I think the Florida version is supposed to be completely free spinning. And then you have the spike that's in City Walk that they just topped off. But it's because of Comcast. That's the reason we have all this. So the reason I bring it up is if this splits off and Universal all of a sudden sees a point where they have to say, hey, we can't spend the money, does Disney now catch up to what Universal's been doing and surpass? Or will we continue to have this back and forth for a little bit?
I mean, I think it depends on budget and
Yeah.
how fast turnaround time. Because, I mean, unlike Universal, Disney takes forever to do stuff. So, are they going to put it into it and then try to surpass Universal, but then fall flat because their timelines are not in line?
Well, that's the thing too, is that Disney saw Universal do all this stuff, right? They saw that Universal open Harry Potter, the original Hogsmeade, with lines all the way back to City Walk, and they didn't do anything for years. And now they're actually doing stuff, but Universal hasn't stopped since then. So you would think Universal, they're not going to, like, this is supposed to happen by the end of the year, if I remember right. Maybe it's the beginning of next year. So whatever they're doing in Lost Continent right now, it's not just going to be shut down. They're going to continue to build it out. The expansions going on in Epic Universe, those are going to be built out. Anything they have planned for, expanding Universal Kids Resorts probably are being greenlit, because we're seeing some of the stuff we talked about last week in videos, and we're going to talk about a little bit later, but they've painted and made stuff look a little bit better in areas. So they know they're going to have to one up stuff at Kids Resort. But I just don't think Universal is going to just roll over right away. I think Disney would be the one that kind of says, okay, no more Villains Land. Universal's done.
You and this whole no more Villains Land. Like, it's not happening.
It just depends on like the ROI on the theme parks. Like if they're investing all this money in Epic and everything like that, and they're getting a good return on it, and it's funding other stuff besides the theme parks, and yeah, they're going to keep rolling with it. But like anything else, if it becomes to be a money suck, then they're gonna, tap the brakes at least for a minute and say, wait, hold on. I honestly don't know how I can't name the arms of Disney and I can't name the arms of Universal because there's so, movies, TV, merchandise, blah, 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 blah. But I feel like sometimes I feel like that so much crap on Disney Plus tanked. And it's almost like as soon as something tanked, something else in Disney World's price went up. And it's like, is this park now just funding crappy Disney Plus shows? Like, let's not make shows.
100%.
How about this? Let's not milk Star Wars anymore. That's a dead cow. Leave it there. So I feel like Universal also might be learning from that. Cause I think like Rachel agreed. I don't think it's hard to, connect the dots. And I think maybe Universal saw that. And if you've got a good thing going with the theme parks and just keep on going and don't worry about the other stuff.
Kelly, what do you think?
No, I think so too. And I think that when y'all said that they have time to catch up, so Disney will announce something, Universal knows what that is, and they know that they can come up with their plan and implement it, open it before Disney's anywhere even near done. So they're all a step behind, but end up a step ahead. So I think that they almost have the advantage when you're comparing new things side by side, that they know what's coming and how can they do something better.
I do think if we see anything come from Universal, it will be more of let's close the horror out in Vegas, because stuff I'm seeing is like it's not doing as well as they want it to do during the year. Like you can watch, you can see videos of that place pretty much empty unless it's
I've
Halloween.
never heard anything about that except that it opened. That's all I ever heard.
You were the only person I've ever heard talk about going there. And like Kelly said, I didn't even know it existed until you talked about it.
We can see they're supposed to be opening one in Chicago. So I can see that one getting like scrapped. It'd be the Disney Quest thing, like saying, hey, we're not going to move forward with it. I could see if Kids Resort in 2 to 3 years doesn't start turning a buck for them, they say, okay, this is a failure. We're going to sell this off to Six Flags and let them do what they want to do with it before the actual resorts get hit with anything. Because those would be the big money makers, the revenues that they'd want to build more stuff for and compete with. It's just interesting to know that this is still like, I think this time last year, Disney was talking about spinning off ESPN as their own company. Well, Disney would have the same build out where they could control ESPN. It was just that if they wanted to sell ESPN, they could easier. And that's what this could be, is what if Comcast wants to sell Universal, or what if Comcast wants to be sold and somebody else comes out? So you could have theoretically Netflix come through and say, well, we're going to buy NBC Universal because they have a catalog for us to have on our platform because Peacock sucks. And then we have controlling rights for a theme park.
I love Peacock.
It's not doing great though. It's not turning a profit.
I don't have Peacock.
We have it, but just because of Below Deck.
I was going to say, if you don't watch Bravo shows, there's not much reason to have Peacock. I will say, now that you mention it, besides Bravo shows, I don't think I watch anything on Peacock.
And the Universal monster movies, like all the Universal and Blumhouse movies are on Peacock. So seeing that being sold to like a Netflix could dabble in theme parks. They've been doing some dabbling in real world stuff, the House of Netflix and that type of thing. So they could actually start putting Stranger Things in a theme park. And we've seen that relationship in the past with HHN, with their Stranger Things house. So I just figured that'd be a fun what if. I don't know if we'll ever see anything come from it. Warner Brothers is being sold to Paramount right now because Warner Brothers was going to spin off the Discovery channels and all that stuff. And Paramount and Netflix both went after it as a whole, and Paramount won. So who knows? But that's all for the news. We'll be right back after this word, and we're going to talk about Universal Kids Resort in Texas.
Are you dreaming of your next adventure, but overwhelmed by planning? Magical Travel has you covered. With over 22 years in the business, we specialize in Disney destinations, Universal Studios, cruise vacations, and all-inclusive resort getaways. Our services are 100% complimentary when you book a vacation package with one of our knowledgeable agents. Request a free quote to start the planning process at www.magicaltravel.com. Mention our podcast to be connected with one of our agents you are listening to.
And we're back. We've been talking. This is very much a Universal episode. Kelly, like we said, has made the trip. It's a long journey for her. She said, what, it was an hour and a half, 2 hours?
She said 3 hours.
3
3 hours.
hours
We
each
were talking about,
way. Yeah.
yeah, okay, so it's still long drive.
A long 6 hours for a day of driving? That's a long time.
It won't.
Yeah, but you wouldn't do the same back and forth in a day.
I wouldn't know.
That's what Kelly did.
I'm pretty stupid though, so I might do that. I don't.
With
Yeah.
work schedules. Yeah.
Yeah, my car does self-drive, so I would let it drive out there. But she made her way out to the kids resort that Universal has just officially opened as of today. It was yesterday. So Kelly, what were your overall thoughts of the resort, like the hotel and everything getting around? Is it something worthwhile if you're in the area to do?
I think if you have kids the right age, let's say 3 to 9, ideally, absolutely if you're in the area. I don't know that I would go. I definitely wouldn't fly to Dallas to see it and spend time there. If you're in Dallas, Fort Worth, even Waco, Oklahoma, and you can drive in a couple hours, or if you want to stay overnight at the hotel, you know, even 3, 4, 5 hours, it's definitely worth a stop if you're in that type of area. So not worth flying across the country for like a Universal Orlando type destination, but while you're there and your kids are the right age, definitely a place to stop and spend a day.
So we're going to go into the hotel in a second, but is this located in a spot where you could make the hotel your home base and be able to go back and
Absolutely,
forth?
yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So the entrance to the park is under the hotel. So the hotel kind of starts on deck 2, floor 2, and the entrance is right underneath the hotel. So we even heard a family, when we were on a ride, and they were like, you know what, we're going to go to the hotel, back to the hotel, go in the pool for a break and relax for a little bit, come back. It is steps away. So easy to go back and forth. You're right there.
So for like somebody like Terry, Rachel, or myself, if we were to go out there, but would the resort itself, would the hotel be good for staying for an extended stay and be able to go into Fort Worth and do more touristy stuff and come back, or is it going to be out of the way a little bit?
It's a little bit out of the way. So Frisco is going to be about 20, 30 minutes out of downtown Dallas, about the same from Fort Worth. So if you're really, really looking for like city, you'll probably want to be in Dallas and not so much Frisco.
So this is like, you want to book it for the night that you're
Yeah,
doing the park and then
the
go back
hotel
in.
is for the resort, and that's the only reason I would be there.
Okay. So what about the hotel? Like what's the general theme of the hotel? What type of rooms do they have? Is it well themed? Is it on par with what we have in Universal here in
Yeah.
Orlando?
The hotel I thought was super cute. The one thing I was surprised at was that there weren't as many characters inside the hotel. Characters all over the lands of the park. All the lands are themed. You've got character meet and greets, character rides, but not so much characters in the hotel. But it was super bright colored, yellows, oranges, reds everywhere. So definitely kid friendly in that theme. Kid friendly, but not overly character or movie connected.
What were the rooms like? So you saw 3 out of the 4 categories.
Yeah.
So what did you say?
So the standard room is your basic. It's the smallest. It's a basic room. It's got 2 queen beds, not a ton of space, but enough space for a family of 4 for one night. All of the rooms, I'm sorry, I just said it had 2 queen beds, but that's not right. All of the rooms have bunk beds, which is super fun. So the standard has a queen and then it has a bunk bed, and it's actually a twin over full bunk bed. So it's going to sleep 5.
Nice.
Wow.
So all of them sleep 5 or 6. So those families of 5 don't need to worry about 2 rooms, connecting rooms, anything like that. So the standard room is the smallest. That is what they have the most of. And he did say that they have the most of them, and also some of them are theme park views, so they're facing out towards the park, and that those sell very quickly. So those are proving to be pretty popular. The deluxe room is the same as the standard, same bunk beds, queen beds, but just a little bit more space, same exact layout, but just about, I think he said like 30 square feet more. So just wiggle room in the room.
Are there any balconies or patios or no?
No. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. They all have windows, so you're facing the parking, the pool, or the theme show. The signature room is the one that I liked the best. I don't think it was on a corner, but it was almost felt like it was a bigger room on the corner of the building. More spread out, definitely more airy instead of the queen bed and the bunk beds right next to it. The queen bed kind of had its own wall, and then the bunk beds across the room from it. So it was definitely more wiggle room, more spread out. And that's the only one that also had a split bathroom. So the shower and the sink were together with a separate toilet. So definitely some advantages
I
to
saw
the signature.
I saw a vlogger, the Tim Tracker,
Mhm.
and he was in a room with I guess the queen bed was locked off, like it had its own bedroom. So is that the same style, or is that the would be the room that you didn't get to see?
That's the family suite.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So the family suite is a living room. It has kind of like a nook for the bunk bed, and then it has a bedroom that is separated by a door, and that is a king bed. So it's the only room that has a king bed. All the others are queen.
It very much reminded me of like Dockside. I don't know if you've been in Dockside.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it felt
So
like.
that slept up to 6, which is nice in case you have even more, because it's a sofa bed that's for 2, a twin over twin bunk bed, and then the king. And then the manager did also tell me every single one of those connects to a standard room as well, which sleeps up to 5. So if you have larger family or a larger group, you could do 6 and 5 with the family suite and a standard room.
That was
connect.
going to be my next question, was if there was connecting rooms. So are they guaranteed, or like is it just a hope to
That
have?
I don't know. I did not ask.
Okay.
So it probably depends on availability.
I
So
can't
one of the
even.
things, go ahead.
No, like the rooms are really brightly colored, but they're not
Yes.
themed. Like you said, the floors are themed. So I looked that up, and it's like Puss in Boots, Gabby's Dollhouse, Trolls, and Shrek. But the rooms are all the same no matter what floor. So you won't get like a Shrek room or a Puss in Boots room.
Right. So
Okay.
like the hallway, I think is a different color. So like I'm sure the Shrek hallway was green, Puss in Boots orange, but there is nothing except for like one picture outside the elevator that's saying, this is Shrek and in your face Shrek or characters or anything like that.
I think that's pretty smart because
For kids especially.
yeah, because
No.
What's popular right now with Trolls, and Shrek has a new movie coming out next year. That might not be popular in 5-10 years, and if this thing lasts, they can easily go in and just take the wall art
Yeah.
off and put a new vinyl up of whatever character's popular that can fit the colors. So that's not a horrible idea.
No,
Do
that's
you-
smart for kids because I know a bunch of kids like will go down. Like I mean, they're like 13, but they'll go down to like the pool in a hotel, and just it never crosses their mind to remember like what floor their
Where they're
room is
going.
on.
Yep.
So they just kind of like call their mom like, "Ray, what's our room number again?" So I like, like if they're either a character or a color, you can easily remember like, "Oh, this is what it looks like when I get off the elevator."
That's the same that Pixar Place does. Like the floor we were on was Woody and Bo. So you
Was it? I didn't even notice that.
You gotta have that childlike wonder, Rachel, about you.
yeah, they all
I
had
had
murals.
no.
Yeah,
I don't pay attention apparently when I go places.
evidently not. But yeah, that was the mural was Bo and Woody when it opened up, and I think when we stayed a few years ago, it was Coco. So it's really cool that they incorporate that for those little kids, like you were saying, Terry, that they might not remember the number, but they can remember that they're.
And I like that. And like you said, Jason, I think it's smart they don't theme the rooms because if they do an overhaul, it's really hard to re-theme a room. But I didn't think about
Also,
that until you said it. But that's
If
smart.
Universal, if this resort does fail, they can easily sell it, and the person come through Holiday Inn come.
Yeah,
and
anyone
turn it
could
off.
take it over. Yeah, it's just bright and colorful and kid, not
That's
Universal.
probably why they did it. They probably didn't want to put too much money into the theming of it, like to have characters just in case.
I think with the Nickelodeon suites in Orlando, they were like overly themed all the Nickelodeon characters. When Holiday Inn came in, they had to do a huge overhaul because it was so themed. But maybe
Now,
Universal.
Kelly, sorry, since you live in Texas, do you think that maybe they built this as like for people in like middle America, maybe that don't want to fly all the way to Orlando or California? Or what's your opinion of why they put this here?
So I don't think it's the same as California or Orlando because it's definitely not a multi-day destination. It's a 1 day, 1.5 day. If you're coming from afar, you're going to stay in the hotel just so you have a full day in the park. I definitely don't think it's a destination in itself. I think it's an add-on to Dallas is very kid friendly. So you've got kids and families visiting anyway. And I'm sure, just like Orlando's warm, and I'm sure that's part of why everything's
true.
developed there. Texas is going to be a spot that has decent weather year round, so it's going to be open all year round. So I think that's probably a big draw as well.
So you're saying if like you're coming, like dad's coming for like a Cowboys game on Sunday, you bring the family down and you can go do that on like Friday or Saturday. And then
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about like, so you said it's like a half day or it's like a full day, 1.5 days. So like, what kind of rides and stuff to do there? Like,
So there's
why is
only,
it
I
only?
think, 13 rides somewhere
That's
around
more-
there.
It's more than Epic Universe. Just
I was
saying.
just gonna say,
Okay.
I
I was
just got
gonna
11.
say, yeah.
Yes, but you don't have pre-shows. The rides are purposefully short rides. I mean, the coaster ride is not going to be as long as Stardust Racers is. So the experience for each ride total is going to be a lot less than something else. So not a ton of rides. There's shorter rides. There's a couple shows. We saw 2 shows. There's a movie theater that'll open with like short. And then the other thing is there are a ton of playgrounds and splash areas, like water playgrounds for them too, which I really love for the little kids, because if you have to stand in line for 10, 15 minutes, you do a little ride and then they can go run around and play and then you can go to another. So
See,
there's a lot of that.
I love that because if we take Travis out at his current age, he loves a playground right now. So we pay that money to go in there, just play on playgrounds all day because he's
Yeah.
not going to ride a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But
Is there Express Pass or a form of?
There is not right now, but they were set up. Every attraction had 2 queues. So clearly they're going to do something. I don't know what that is. So, but honestly, we waited maybe 10 minutes. I'd say max 15 minutes. And that was for the water ride and the Shrek ride, which loads really slow. And that's it. But even then, I feel like the queue space, like the queues that were set up were maybe double what we waited. So if we waited 15 minutes, you're talking a full queue. They're expecting maybe 30 minutes for anything.
But they're not long queues.
Not at all. So
Okay,
they're
so they're not
just,
expecting
like stanchions, and they're not winding all around. They're all right in front of the ride, just back and forth with stanchions. And they cannot hold enough people to be long wait. So I don't know if they're not expecting that many people or if they're really going to put capacity at that many people that it's never that crowded.
and that was my theory, is that it's probably going to be based off hotel first, like how much is
Mhm.
how many people are in the hotel, and then they'll open up daily sales for outside guests, for day guests to come in and do whatever, or annual passes if they have those available.
And they were sold out. I don't think they were sold at full capacity because it was still a preview, but they were checking your park tickets even to get into park. Like they made us show that we had tickets for that day. So I think that they have things in place to be sold out pretty often, and they're going to double check that.
Now, do the queues, are they more like a Six Flags type of queue, or is it more like immersive, like a Disney or?
All of it is pretty much like your Six Flags. It's just the line.
Just the line.
Yep.
You can see where that's going to be hard to keep a 6 and 7-year-old entertained.
I can see where it's going to be that the older kids, maybe 8, 9, 10, are at the playground and the splash pads, and mom and dad are going to be in line and be like, okay, get over here. Because I feel like that's going to happen pretty often if there's a line, because there's a splash pad and or a playground in every single land. So it's all very compact and right there. So the kids could very easily be on a playground, call them up, and they could be there in 30 seconds to the ride you're at in line.
So we
Are
keep
the
talking-
queues? Sorry, I was going to ask again about the queues. Are they covered? Like, are
I was
they
gonna ask
shaded?
that.
Yeah, they all are covered. All of the queues, all the playgrounds too, completely covered. Some of the splash, I'm sure most of the splash pad at least. I didn't notice as much on that, but all the playgrounds, all the queues, completely covered.
So we keep
Nothing
talking about,
indoors. Everything is outdoors. There's nothing indoors except for the theater, the movie theater.
So there's like nowhere to like cool off. on the
Yeah. So
ride.
like Universal Orlando, you're like, oh, I don't even mind waiting in this line for 30 minutes
Yeah.
because it's air
Inside.
conditioning. Yeah. Yeah. So none of that. So I mean, they've got the fans and the misters, and you're
So
cooling
it's-
off in between with the splash pads, and there's 2 water rides too. So it wasn't that bad. but I'm a Texan and I'm used to it. But most people going very likely are too. So,
You're
you
a
know,
Texan with your
for
Jersey
now.
accent popping out a
Yes.
little bit.
But you keep talking about lands, so let's go through those. There's Minions, Jurassic World, Shrek, and Puss in Boots, correct? And then I think there's a small Gabby's Dollhouse at the front, but it's not like really a land so much.
Yeah, they didn't even have anything when we were there. So I think it's a dance party and a meet and greet, but they weren't even out when we were there. I think they were setting up for the grand opening because it was 2 days later.
So
we didn't see any of that, but there's no rides or shows or anything with Gabby's Dollhouse.
let's run through the lands just real quick. What you thought about each land, the attractions type thing. That way we have a feel for 'em. What, age appropriate, like which ones would be more geared to the smaller kids, which one's geared to the older kids type stuff. So whichever way you want to go. I don't know how the park's laid out. So
Okay, so
all
you
I know is
enter and you've got
you can do
Minions in front. So we'll start with Minions.
okay.
All right, Minions I think was our favorite. All of us agreed, and that's probably because they have the Bellow Bay Cruise, which is the river raft ride. If you've seen the reviews of the park, that's probably the most controversial one as well.
It is. It was very bland on the art and the floral based off
Yeah.
of the concept art.
It was, but did you see that they are adding to it and they
Yeah.
are
They painted the
painting it?
walls. So
Yep.
now you have Andy's walls painted on the cloud are painted on the walls now.
You
so
do.
you have Toy Story and Minions.
But it was a really good ride. So adding that I think will be helpful. I didn't think the theming was as bad in person as everyone was talking about. So if you were reading about it being a concrete jungle and that bad and not entertaining and not themed, when you were in the ride and eye level with the figures and everything going on, that was a lot more distracting and you didn't really focus on.
I think a lot of the influencers too they brought out don't have kids, or the kids are aged out and they don't really understand what Universal was going for. So they were being
Mhm.
critical over what the theming is because they want it to be what Universal does in
Right.
Orlando.
They're
Not
comparing
what
it to what they
do.
know. Yeah.
So I think that's why it got so much negativity. And then keyboard warriors were like, Universal do better, but
Yeah.
they're not there. So I agree with
Yep.
you. I think being there is bigger than
Yep. And they took those criticisms and they're clearly working on it. So I'm okay with that. Yep. So there's a Minion golf cart ride that's like the alien swirling saucers. So the spinning around, you're in a golf cart with the Minion. And then there's a couple splash areas themed to the Minions and then a Minion meet and greet area as well. And they swap out those meet and greets. So we met one of the purple guys. I don't know if they have a name. Yeah. But we also
I think
saw
he's just
some of
evil
the
Minion.
Yeah, we saw some of the yellow Minions too. So I noticed at those meet and greets, they switch those out pretty often. So it's not like a once and done kind of thing. You could go once and meet one person, go a little bit later and meet someone else too. So those
That's
are
cool.
something that you could redo.
Does
On the
Groot ever
main-
come out?
I didn't see him. I only saw the Minions. I didn't see anything like the girls or Gru.
So this is going to be a little bit specific, but because the Minions movie came out this weekend, did they have any promotion in the park for that?
No, I didn't notice anything.
Okay, that's just because I would figure they'd want to promote something like that in the park that's based
Yeah.
off what they want the kids to see. So they do it in the theme park. So maybe they're just focused on opening it right now and then later on.
might be.
All right, you want to go to the next land?
All right, SpongeBob and Bikini Bottom. This is probably mostly geared towards the younger side, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of like a Dumbo type slow round and round ride. Meet and greet. So we did see them switch out a couple of there. It was SpongeBob and Patrick at first, and then we saw Squidward a little bit later. So they're switching those out as well. 2 more little kiddie rides, and then one of our other favorite rides was Bob and Barrels. So I've never seen anything like it. You're sitting in a 4-person barrel and each of you has a water gun and each barrel spins and then they also spin around the center. So you're spinning and spinning and spinning and you can use the water guns to shoot the other barrels. But also there are water guns off the ride. So on the edge. So if you want to send your kids on the ride and you can stand outside
You can
where you
shoot
can
them?
focus. Yeah, you can shoot them right in the face.
That's awesome.
Love it. Did you do that to your girls?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
And so we ended up more stoked on that than the raft ride. So
Rachel's
definitely
booking the
water
trip
ride.
now just because of that ride.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
what?
It's
You're
great.
booking the trip now just because of that ride.
I'm looking at the rides actually.
That sounds fun.
It
Oh, that
definitely
was
was really
popping
fun.
barrels. Okay.
Yep, yep. And we rode that one several times, and then would switch to was staying off and shooting from the outside.
Which that does bring up a good little question before we move on. Are a lot of these rides like very rideable, like multiple rides, or are they one and done? You know,
So I have a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old. So for us, several of them were checking off the list, one and done for now. We did everything. There wasn't anything that we didn't want to do. And that's another thing that I noticed is, you know how you can go to some theme parks that have like kiddie lands and it's just the kids on the ride and all the parents are standing there watching? Everyone rode the rides here. They were like family rides. They weren't just for the kids. Does that make sense? Like it wasn't where you
geared
stand
toward
on the
the
side
kids,
and watch.
not-
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
But
that
they
makes total
were
sense.
for everyone, which made it so much better for us that we got to participate and enjoyed that too. I'd say a lot of it might be like one and done. So the barrels definitely we did a couple times because we like shooting each other in the face with water.
Who doesn't?
But yeah, the Minions raft ride we did multiple times. It was hot and it felt good and refreshing. And then I think that probably if a kid has a land or a movie they love, I'm sure they're going to do it over and over and over. So you love Shrek, you're going to go on the Shrek ride multiple times. We just didn't need.
Well, let's move to Shrek right quick then and talk about
Yeah.
that. That one's another one of those controversial online.
Yeah.
What's going on in Shrek?
Okay, so Shrek has a dry playground and a water playground. Water playground was really cool. It had the big dump bucket. So you want to cool off. That's where the kids were running around. Then there's only one ride. It is Happily Ogre After. It's a little cheesy. It's for little kids. I think the criticisms I saw, Jason, I don't know what you saw, but that it looked unfinished, looked like it was popped up last minute.
I also saw that like in between scenes was too long. And
Yeah.
I could get that from what I was watching.
Yeah. I think that is fair criticisms that it is not enough story for the ride. It was cute to do. I feel like it could be better done. It's okay. I will tell you the thing we did not like there is it loaded so slow. I don't know if it's something they're going to change or if it's their safety procedures, but they did a 1-for-1 swap on the load. They would take a family off the car and then load the car and then send it off. And there would be 3 or 4 cars sitting behind it. And they won't let you off if you're sitting there. They say you have to stay seated and wait for an attendant to come get you. So the payoff of the ride did not match the wait because it was so slow to ride that that's one of the ones we waited for. And the 2-minute ride with 4 scenes wasn't worth that.
Is there
It's
any
also-
reason you could see why they would do that? Like, it's not dangerous or anything like that, I'm assuming. Like,
No, I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. I don't know if it's something they might change. I mean, Universal knows how to load a ride, right? Like
yeah.
they've got plenty of parks that do it very efficiently. So I don't know why this is not doable. There were a lot of safety things that they were sticklers on that didn't like make sense. So like every single ride, my husband had to take his hat off. I mean, he had like a big brim sun hat with like even a strap on it. And they would like come walk up to you, not just like a general announcement, please take off your hat. They would walk up to him, sir, you need to take your hat off for the entire ride. So I don't know if some of those things might get changed as they go or if that's how it's going to be. But safety wise, there were a couple things like that.
I have been, I think where it was Dorney Park, which is in Pennsylvania. It's like a Six Flags. I was just on a regular kiddie ride with my kids and they made me take off a baseball hat.
Yep. Yeah.
And for me being bald, like I'm okay being bald. It is what it is. But like, I just don't like being told to take off a hat, being bald.
It's also sun
But
protection, you know?
Dude, I know. You burn this head, it's horrible. I've done it once and I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
You're not wishing spins
It wasn't
high enough for it to
necessary,
fly
but
off.
you know,
Yeah.
and I had said to my husband too, I said, I wonder if I am sure all these employees are not theme park employees, right? They are just Texas locals. They're Dallas locals. And it might be easier to teach them in black and white, especially starting out. Every single hat comes off every single time. I don't know that that's what was happening, but it felt like they
Right.
were given black and white rules and every single
Right.
person follows this every single time.
I mean, that makes sense. I get the consistency because I do like consistency when it comes to that type of thing. But, you know, I'm the odd one. I get it. I respect the rules. I'll take it off. But, like, I feel a way about it when I do it, especially if
Yes.
it's a kiddie ride where, like, I know it's not going
Right.
to come off.
Especially
It's a
the
little
track
nuance
where it's
and
so
everything.
slow moving.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But, I mean, the consistency part, I get it. Everyone says the same thing, so there's no interpretation. I get it.
So next land, you want to stay in the Shrek universe and go to Puss in Boots, or
Sure. Yeah. Puss in Boots also only has one ride and then one show. It's the swings in Puss in Boots, you know, like a regular theme park swing ride.
2 inches on that one.
Yeah, it was fast. So you do have to be a little bit taller than some of the other rides for that one. And that's the only ride there. And then they had a puppet show, which I feel really weird saying a puppet show because I'm picturing, you know, I say puppet show and I'm picturing
yeah, you're
my
thinking
hand.
like
Yep.
Muppet.
Yeah. No. I don't know how to explain what they were, but purely professional puppets.
They're like Olaf on stage,
Yes,
or
yes,
and stuff
yes.
like that, where there's people. You can see the
Exactly.
people behind them.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I get
And
it.
they still
Okay.
moved. So it's not like a stuffed thing. They still had blinking and moving and stuff. And that was really, really cute. I actually thought it was cute for 15 minutes, sit down, giggled a couple of times. So definitely family friendly and cute, worth seeing.
And they spent the money to make those puppets look pretty good. Like from what I've seen, they didn't cheap out on them. They got good looking puppets.
Yeah, it was cute.
What's the next land?
What do we
Jurassic World.
got?
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World. So the most memorable part there is when they forgot that we were on a ride and ran it through the cycle again.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
So there's another ride in Jurassic World that loads very, very slowly. It's the
Who's the
Mr. DNA's
the
double
jump-
helix.
Yeah.
No, it's a double helix. So it spins in 3 different ways. But because of that, it's almost like little teacup pods and they load one at a time. So they load 8 of them separately and then
So it's
run
like
the
a
ride around. and
Ferris
around and
wheel,
around.
kind of, where the Ferris wheel has to come all the way around and
Kinda.
everyone has
Yep.
to empty their cart before the
Yep.
door goes full. Okay.
Same idea. So, and there's only one of them with 8 carts. So again, the load is very, very slow on that one. So they loaded everyone. We ran it. He unloaded everyone except for us and then ran it again. And he was like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry," screaming up at us in the ride. So
Yeah, that one
Free ride.
says 39 inches, but children under 48 have to be with a supervising
And
companion.
yes. And it
An
is
adult,
a
I don't
1
know.
for 1 on the supervising companions. Each child has to have one. So if you're under
Really?
that line, yeah,
So, like,
if you're,
if I had 2 kids that were under 48 inches,
you need 2
I
adults.
couldn't take. Really?
That sucks
Yeah.
for single parents.
I was like, what about
Right.
single parents? You can't leave one kid at the bottom.
Well, there's no rider swap. I'm assuming because of how small the rides are.
Right. Yeah. And the wait times aren't long, so I don't think rider swap is necessary.
Right. I'm thinking Universal, and I just said rider swap. I'm thinking family rooms. There's not a thing.
No.
Right. Okay.
Nope.
So
This
it's
is-
really like a Six Flags.
This is the first roller coaster, right? That we've talked that they
Very
have.
Yes. So yeah, that's the first roller coaster. It was fun. It was definitely a kiddie coaster, but it was fun. I wouldn't need to ride it over and over, but we went on it and we had fun doing it once. So I can't remember the height requirement on that one. I think I
That
had
one's
it.
39 again.
Yeah.
But
So
48
that's one
has
of the
to be
higher ones.
supervised. Yeah.
So that
Oh.
one's like the most thrill, quote unquote,
Yeah.
ride there.
For sure.
Did
In the
you-
whole park. That's the thrill ride.
And if you had to compare it to like a kiddie coaster, what would you compare it to? Like a Barnstormer or
More
a
than Barnstormer. I think a little more. Pretty close to Barnstormer, I would say.
Slinky Dog?
Yeah.
No.
Somewhere in
Slinky
between
Dog?
the two. In between the two.
Between
Barnstormer to Slinky Dog. Yep. I think
That
that
is a
it's a
hippogriff.
good. Yes. Yes.
mm-hmm.
For sure. It's a
Okay,
good
so
intro
better than
coaster.
Hippogriff.
So those kids that are kids but want to be like, oh my God, I rode a roller coaster, like they can say they rode a roller coaster. There was a drop tower Jason mentioned there, a regular playground with a big climbing stegosaurus. You got to climb on him. And then they have a ropes playground as well. So I would say it was like 2 or 3 stories high.
Wow.
I just saw pictures of like the ropes course and the view. So yeah, it's definitely up there, 2 or 3 stories.
So yeah, that's a
Got
little more. I think that's more. So like the climbing playgrounds, the Stegosaurus playground definitely are for like the younger kids. And then the rope playgrounds higher up and all the rope stuff to climb for the not older kids, but older age that's there.
When you say like younger kids, you're talking like 3, 4, 5. And then like what would the max age for this park be, would you think?
The max that I would like go for, like I would go for maybe a 9 or 10-year-old. If you have an 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old and a younger kid, I would definitely bring teenagers along. I don't think it's not fun for them. Like I said, my kids are 17 and 19 and we still had a really good day.
It sounds like a lot like going off your teenager thing is like this would be a good park for the parents to be able to, like, if they didn't want to ride stuff, for the siblings to bond, to like they go on
Yeah.
the roller coaster together.
They could do
and
it
stuff
together.
together because of the
Yeah.
height requirement for a supervising child or something like that.
And, that gets me thinking. So, Rachel, you said, it's reminding you of like Six Flags. One of the things that I would say is different from Six Flags is you bring your little kids to Six Flags because there's the kids section and they can do a couple of things. But Six Flags has so many teenagers
Right.
all over running around doing their teenager thing. This park
This is more.
is for the kids. It doesn't have that teenage vibe.
Hence the name, the Kids Resort.
Yeah.
Kids
You're
Resort.
lacking that teenage draw there. You cannot go without a parent unless you're over 18. So if you're 16 and you want to go just to go for the day, you live down the street and go start trouble or just go on the rides, you can't. You have to be 18 or older or have a parent with you.
So a lot of it's like so just going off the Six Flags thing. This would be like, I don't know the nearest Six Flags, but you could drop the teenagers off at Six Flags.
Yeah.
They could do that.
There's one in Dallas, so for sure.
So you do that, and then you bring the younger kids here while the teens are
I
having.
dropped Mason off at Hershey Park. Like,
Yeah, but you go to.
I mean, I like that. They're trying to keep like the riffraff out, I should say.
Right.
Because
Yep.
the teenagers will do whatever they want to do.
Right.
So
Right.
that's good
Yeah.
that they're doing that. They're making it more family, more young kid
They
friendly.
really are catering to like the younger
Yeah.
crowd.
For sure. That's exactly my point. You don't have all that shenanigans.
The last land would be Trolls. Sorry, Rick.
Yeah.
Is that
Trolls
the
who
last
have
land?
another
Yeah.
kiddie coaster. I think so. Because we
'Cause we
talked
done-
about Gabby's, which didn't really have a lot. Gabby's Dollhouse. So that's the last one. There's another coaster there. Again, another one of the slow loading ones because there's only one train because the track is very short. It goes around once, it comes through the load area and goes again with the same people on it because it's a very, very short track. It might have to do with being a smaller park, limited space. I mean, the footprint is very small. You can walk around, which is great for the kids, right? You can walk
Yeah.
around the entire park and not even be tired. So it's a very short track on that. And so it's only one train. So again, unload and then load new people, then send it out. It goes around twice. So that loads a little bit slow as well. It didn't really have too much of a line when we were there, but I could see how it has the potential to get a line just because it's loading very slow. But so roller coaster, a spinning balloon ride. A lot of the rides spin. We talked about the bobbing barrels. That was a spinning ride. The Dumbo type ride spinning. The drop tower in Jurassic World spins as you go down. The
All right,
balloons.
well, I am not
spin.
going because
It's a lot of
get
spinning.
motion sick.
But my daughter gets motion sick and she was fine on everything except for the double helix because that was moving in 3 different ways. But everything else, she was okay. But it would be something to think about if a kid gets motion sick because there's a lot of spinning.
You mentioned the closeness of the park. What did you
Mhm.
see a lot of strollers there, or was it a lot of, like, I know it's still pre-opening, so you might not have seen a lot, but would you suggest a stroller for those who have smaller kids?
For sure. One of the reasons isn't just because of the kids, but just for your stuff. Because if you're
Mhm.
going on the water playgrounds and in the splash areas, you're going to be changing a couple of times. And they actually have changing rooms, not like bathrooms, just like changing stalls right next to every single water playground. So super quick, change in your swimsuit, go play,
That's great.
change back out. So you don't have to go on the rides wet. So I don't have to sit in a wet seat on the roller coaster because the kid was wet and sat in their swimsuit.
That's great.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. That's
Do
that
they have
kids
the
thing again, right?
dryers?
Like
Yeah,
they do.
they do have
Yeah.
the dryers.
They have those too.
It's
So
called the Texas Sun.
that's true. Yeah. I think there were a lot of strollers though. They did have them for rent, and I did see some people using rented ones. So there are some people that didn't think they need it or came without one and picked one up when they were there. I think even though it's not a huge footprint, it is hot. It's walking around. It's easier to have the stroller and say, okay, get in than it is to carry your kid hot and wet and tired and cranky.
So before we move on to food, is there anything else you want to touch in the land itself or in the park itself?
No, I don't think so. I'll just say one little comment that I had is I did feel a little bit like it was missing one big centerpiece, the DA. I mean, there's no room for a parade, but a parade or I don't know what else. But I feel like there could have been, it felt like it needed that one unifying, like, big thing because everything is just individual little things. And they're in the lands, which are well themed, but there was not one big, I guess, event. I don't know if that's what I'm looking for, but not one big thing that identified
Not like a
the
kids
park.
night like at the Disney parks or a nighttime show or like
Yeah.
just a parade. There's
A
nothing
water
like
Right.
show or something.
Right. Nothing like that. I felt like it could use that. I don't know what that would have to be, but it's just something that I thought could be there that wasn't there.
they could do a projection show on the hotel. That would be
There you go.
I'll take the money for that one, Universal. when
Yep.
y'all do it. So food, did you eat on any of the food? Did you like the food? What type of food did they have? Am I going to be able
We
to
actually
prepare something?
didn't. We didn't eat there. We are lunch snackers, so we just kind of snacked on little things for lunch, and then we left for dinner at dinner time. But the food was reasonably priced. We were just in Universal Orlando last month, and the food is much better priced at Kids Resort. More standard quick service pricing, like $12 to $15 for a meal. Super cute food though. I did see the menus. Like they've got the Dino chicken nuggets with the
Oh,
mountain of mashed potatoes, like in Jurassic Park. So
that's
cute.
cute.
We saw a ton of kids with the Trolls ice cream where the swirl is their hair, the bright pink
I saw
ice cream.
the Shrek pretzels there with
Yep.
the green cheese.
Yep. So the food
That's
was
good.
themed for sure.
So overall, do you think this is something that can last for a while? That maybe they need to like upgrade some stuff, expand some stuff, and get to make it more of a destination, or do you think it's fine as it is?
I don't know if they have space or can make it a destination, but I think as it is, I think I heard that they sold out of annual passes like pretty quickly. I know they sold out. I don't know how quickly. I thought I had heard that it was pretty quick. So for locals, just to have that clean, safe place to take their kids all
Is
summer.
there? You said that there's a Six Flags in that
Mm-hmm.
area. Anything else besides that in that area?
There's a lot for kids. There's a zoo.
Okay.
There's, I don't remember the names, but there's a couple indoor like kids gaming places, those kind of things. So there's definitely other family friendly family kids things to do in the area. I just think it hits the nail on the head for something that wasn't fully there. Like you said, there's Six Flags and you've got the kids section for the little kids there, but it's not the same. That this is targeting the clear like 3 to 9-year-old young families, giving them their own place to go instead of going somewhere else where there is stuff for them.
Let's also think about Six Flags. Their kids area is themed to the Looney Tunes, which kids don't watch nowadays. So it's very out. It's they're not outdated as rides; they're outdated as characters.
Characters,
Mhm.
yeah.
So bringing Universal in and having those characters that these kids know and love be able to do, because Travis doesn't know who Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck is. And I hate to say that, but I knew who those were when I was his age.
I also feel like this is like a good place. Like if you do live in the area, like Kelly does, like grandparents could take your smaller kids to give them something to do, especially with the annual passes, where grandparents don't feel like they need to ride the ride with the kid because there's shorter queues and they can kind of maintain and keep their eyes on them the whole time.
Or they're not scared to ride the rides because they're not crazy and they're more
And
grandparent
it's
style.
it's a small park, so grandma's not walking 20,000 steps a day like she might at Disney World. They can kind of get around and it's easier for them.
Off of Terry's about like multi-gen or grandparents doing it, how is it flat? Is it like is it easy for someone like in their 60s or 70s to do it?
Yeah. All
Okay.
paved, flat. It's very easy to get around.
Lots
And
of
not get
shade,
lost.
which Disney World doesn't
Yeah.
have.
Rachel and I were saying we just get lost everywhere. It is like a circle. So I could even get where I needed to go, which is really saying something. So super easy to navigate.
So
And
jump
it's
on
super
AP.
safe for kids. Sorry,
Mhm.
Jason.
You're
I just
good.
stepped on you again. But
I
like
don't care. I'm used to it with you
super
too.
safe for your kids to like walk 10 feet ahead, 20 feet ahead of you, and you don't feel like they're gonna run away. Because it's like she said, it's
Yep.
in a circle. They're not gonna
Yep.
like go crazy.
So quickly back on the APs, I think that APs there is a great idea because kids will always age out of going to the kids resort, but there's always going to be kids coming up into the
Right.
kids resort versus
So if I was buying it, it's not going to be something I buy for 10 years straight. It's
Right.
going to be maybe for like 5 years where my kids are that target age. And everyone keeps moving to Texas, young families all the time, new developments, new houses, all these young families. So they're just cycling through those people, those
Exactly.
families in chunks.
And it'd be good presents from, like y'all were talking about, multi-gen. Good grandparents just hand out those APs to all the families one year, because I'm assuming with the ticket prices the way they are, the annual passes aren't too bad.
Yeah, I didn't see the price either, but
I want to go back to sidewalks too. How hot was it actually in there? I've noticed like there was not a lot of shade in a lot of the videos I saw, besides for queues and stuff like that. So how hot did that white concrete really feel with it reflecting and all that?
I think the sidewalks were a problem. I mean, it was hot because it was hot, and there were some areas without a ton of shade. I also saw they're adding some umbrellas and stuff, even like yesterday, I think I saw. So they're listening again to that feedback that people are saying, and trying to fix that. But I don't think the pavement. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say what I heard was like they were trying to get this thing built and open. So what was the easiest thing to say? Let's wait and build, and it's the shade structures because it's cheap and easy to do. They could they're not Disney. It's not going to take them 5 years to build a shade structure over Woody's Lunchbox. They can build one in one night for a big area.
I don't think the shade structure so much we're missing. Maybe just the immature landscaping, where you might be standing under a tree for shade. They didn't have that.
The same
Another thing I will say, there were 2 rides where I sat down and I wanted to hop straight up because the seat was so hot. So I said before, all the queues are covered, all the playgrounds are covered, but not all the rides are fully covered. And it was the SpongeBob one that just goes around like a Dumbo. So that just sits in the sun. And I think ours was like red and it was so hot. But actually then we went over to another SpongeBob ride, the little boats that just go around. And they had an attendant with almost like, you know how you would spray like a pesticide? They pump the little bottle and then they spray out of it. When you went up to your seat, he would spray it with that for you. So they knew it was a problem. Yeah. It didn't really work at all either. But A for effort.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting that, I mean, to me, if you can do things, I didn't ever have a seat in Orlando that was too hot to sit in. So if they know how to do that in Orlando, why did they not plan for that in Texas? I don't know.
Ever popped up like that in Orlando was on Aladdin. It's funny you say it's like a Dumbo spinning ride.
Yep,
Because
so
Aladdin,
same idea,
I sat
right?
down one day and I was like, oh no, back up. And just kind of had to ease down and get used to it.
Is there anything else that we need to know about the Universal Kids Resort that we might have missed?
I don't think
Well,
so.
I
think we
just
covered
want
a
to
lot.
add
Yeah.
that there is the Coca-Cola Freestyle Cup
Yes.
Mhm.
that you can get,
And that
Yep.
can
which
be
is
part
like
of
a
the
universal
package,
thing.
too.
Yeah. And they have their own flavors in each land. Just like, I don't know if you've noticed at Universal Orlando, like
Yes.
Epic Universe, each portal has their own specific flavors at the freestyle machine. So each
I didn't know
land
that.
at
What's
Kids
that?
Resort has their own
That's
themed
cool.
drink. Yeah.
There is a VIP experience
hmm
starting from $1,000
Holy
Yeah.
for
crap.
And it's only
6
4
people.
hours.
It's
4
4
hours.
hours though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you need. You wouldn't
right.
need more, but
Still $1,000.
But
Does
like
that include any food
$1,000,
or anything?
yeah, plus.
yes, it has snacks with it.
Well, that's. I mean, it's still not like $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's like
No.
okay.
So you have
But-
a dedicated VIP guide, priority access, a VIP lounge, snacks and beverages, and then dining and retail discounts.
The VIP lounge is probably worth $1,000 if it's.
I feel like
every-
Inside.
That's a grandpa that's paying for it because he doesn't want to
Right.
be out in the Texas heat.
Well, if that's all we have. Thank you, Kelly. That's
Yeah, you got it.
great information about the Universal Kids Resort. I do want to get out there.
Say, it does make me more interested to go since you talked about it as opposed to seeing everything online. You did make it more appeasing.
Excellent. I think if your kids are the right age and they love those movies and they know several of those movies, that it's a great weekend, long weekend.
I also think we're like all three of us are in the wrong area because we're not getting advertisement for this. I don't know how much
Mhm.
advertising they're doing in Texas.
No, I
for it.
definitely saw it. We have seen it on TV, I'd say at least for a couple of months.
You
They
know,
were popping up.
when I go to the movies, I'm seeing stuff for Universal Orlando, Disneyland, and Walt Disney World and the Disney Cruise, but I'm not seeing anything for Kids Resort. And that might be intentional because they want it to try to stay as local, regional as possible versus their other products that they have.
Especially if they cap it out every day.
I would think there's got to be a pretty low cap for that
Mm-hmm.
park. Well, Kelly, thank you for coming on.
You're
How can
welcome.
people reach you so that you can make your nice goal that Rachel has informed you about on non-recording?
She informed me of the said goal. I did not inform her of the goal.
Okay.
She
Rachel
said it on
told
her
me that she
self.
was gonna
Kelly.
said if I didn't make it, that I was done.
Never. Never, never, never.
How can anybody get to you, Kelly?
Let's say email is the best way. So it's Kelly H KELLY8 at magicaltravel.com.
Awesome. We hope to have you back soon. Talk about something else random. Who
Yeah.
knows? Anything.
Sounds
that you want. You can find the rest of us over at magicaltravel.com. Any of our great agents would be glad to help you with any travel needs that you have. Find the podcast itself at Castles of Cauldrons. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Once again, I keep shouting her out, but we're really seeing an influx of like people liking and following, and Terry's doing a great job at putting that stuff out there for us. So thank you again, Terry, for all your work you're doing there.
And I know everyone loved my churro video. You're
Yes.
The
welcome.
churro video I feel like had the most love.
It's
It was
going
a good video.
it's just going to keep popping up on everybody's socials. We will be off next week. Rachel will be heading to Alaska for her,
The Disney
big-
magic.
and then I'm heading out to Fort Lauderdale for the Disney Destiny. Terry is just going to sit at home
I'm
and
heading
like
out to
it.
Miami for the Royal Caribbean Wonder.
Oh, you're,
Oh, you're going?
I
You're
thought
doing
it
a
was in
ship tour?
September.
No, that's like in 2 weeks. I leave.
Wait, you're
the
going on a ship
16th.
tour? Or are you doing
No,
a
she's
ship
I'm
going
going
on
on a
the cruise.
cruise.
with the family?
Just Matt. Just me and Matt.
Good for you.
That's
It's
gonna be
only a 3-night because he got seasick deep sea fishing, so we're trying it out before we take the whole family. to
He'll
make
be
sure we
fine on
can
that
handle
boat.
it.
It's
I think
different.
so too.
It's
fun. We just
completely
had a coworker just got off that boat, so
We got room with a balcony. He's
Ship.
gonna be fine.
Yeah.
I
Ship.
said boat. It's a ship.
I said boat too.
I know.
But that's going to do it for us. We will see y'all in a couple of weeks. I hope y'all had a safe and great 4th of July, and we will see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.